I tried one. They just ask you some simple stuff about your car, like year, the make, the model, a few other questions, and like I said, it's pretty simple stuff. But if you're like me and what happened to a lot of other people out there, the insurance companies ended up hiking the rates. So, I mean, a lot of people just change every 6 months or so. Some people find out that they get better rates when they do so. I have
response to followers who support Charleston White's comments about his son Cheese.
You say I'm a nobody. Your son a nobody now.
3 hours later.
You know what? That's frustrating. They couldn't get it off the shelf, man. What is we talking about, man? When you look at certain, you're like, man, them niggas ain't getting no tea growing up, man. How could you respect a nigga who couldn't get no tea growing up? Well, tea is the easiest thing to get on planet Earth, man. There's bums out here that got bitches that's laying on the ground next to him. He can't get a job, no money, nothing to eat, but he got some tea laying next to him, man. Y'all gotta get y'all motherfucking mindset right, man. Y'all mentality right, man. Do you know a lot of times when you support hate, you really let them motherfucker know that you really a nut ass, man. How do you support a nigga whose whole foundation is built around hate? What type of is you? That you live in such a dark motherfucking place that you wake up to hate on some. How could I ever hate on some? Because I don't know, man. I never met, man. The f is we talking about, man? And y'all need to go on Nick pages and mention. Like, come on, man. Get your mindset right. This ain't even about me, but it's about you, man. Get your mindset right, man. That's why you going nowhere fast and you'll never last, man. And like we can't be faded and duplicated, impersonated, none of that shit. Get your fucking mind right, man. This is goofy, man. You be on the internet entertaining, hating shit when you don't even know how to you gonna pay your fucking bills, man. You ain't even seen your motherfucking son in 2 months, man. Every other week you arguing with your man, cause you like, damn man, you only pull me out the man. When the f is you gonna get me some action, man? Think about that, man. And you won't hear mentioning that, come on, man. How you know it again? Oh yeah, you said Nipsey Hussle that was dead that he didn't know. Come on, man. What are we talking about? You niggas gotta get your fucking minds right, man.
What are the things everyone wastes money on? If you're trying to save money, cut costs by ditching your Hulu Live. It's too expensive. Well, how do I watch all my shows? Now, I have Philo, $28 a month. It's my favorite financial hack. What about live TV and on demand? Yeah, I can stream over 70 channels. I get unlimited hours of DVR plus 3 simultaneous streams. Okay, I just did the math, and that'll save me $1,467 a year. That's an entire beach vacation. Yeah, let's do it. Cancel your cable, sign up for Philo, and let's start planning. All right, done. Where we going?
You are at the heart of everything we do. The reason we fought for lower prices. The reason we passed laws that protect you, the customer. The reason we developed a better, more affordable way to renew your prescription online. Who we are today begins and ends with you.
1-800-CONTACT.
Your baby mom's somewhere right now getting spark plugs off her, man. And you on here talking about a mother. What you talking about, man? Think about that, man. Your baby mom somewhere getting droopy while your son laying in the bed next to her, man. And you won't hear worrying about the wrong shit, man. Get your son, man. Take care of your kids, man. Take your little grandkids to Chuck E. Cheese or something, man. Do something productive, man. Think about it, man. And I know this talk right here hurt a lot of his feelings that's looking at this shit. And it meant to hurt your feelings. It's meant to motivate you. Like you did, man. Right, man. I need to get my life together, man. This shit got me to get Russian headlocks, man. Just think about that. Life got you in the headlock. Get Russian joint. Speaking Russian, think about that, man. You on Instagram learning about the wrong shit. You gotta do better, Black. If I will do the blueprint, man. He showed you how you could promote if you just stay focused, man. But we'll be the sweatpants, man, every month and day for 5 years, man. Adidas sweatpants, man. Sometimes he had nasty ass Vans on. Sometimes he had some Yeezys on. But he wore an Adidas sweatpants every 5 years, man. He eat shrimp scampi out the month. The Chinese store for 5 years straight, man. Was buying $6 platters, man. For 5 years straight, man, stacking his money, man. That is out of Ferrari, man. Two Porsches, man. Still been around with life. Think about that, man. The cultural advisor at YouTube, man. Got a high school education in prison, man. A funky ass GED that don't mean shit, man. And you're still around with life, man. On Instagram asking a like me about a girl like that, man. Think about that, man. What the type of mindset you got, man? Wake up, man.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Get the QuickBooks mobile app. Simply snap photos of receipts, tap, and sort transactions automatically. Categorize business and personal transactions with a swipe. Take care of business with the QuickBooks mobile app, even on the go.
Unforgettable NBA Finals that changed basketball history forever. The NBA Finals are the crown jewel of basketball. A high-stakes, high-drama collision of legacies, egos, and buzzer beaters. This is where icons are minted. Dynasties are born or broken. You won't believe the time that Steph Curry's Warriors blew a 3-1 lead in the finals later in the video that changed history. And fans are always tuned into every second, sitting on the edge of their seats and sometimes losing sleep for days. That's because every once in a while, the finals don't just decide a champion, they alter the very course of basketball history. Let's hop in the time machine and revisit the most unforgettable NBA Finals that didn't just raise banners but changed the league forever. These were more than games. They were inflection points full of madness, magic, and moments burned into basketball DNA forever. If you enjoy the whole video, don't forget to subscribe and like to see more like this. Before LeBron versus Steph, before Heat culture or Dynasty Warriors, there was Bird and Magic. The 1984 NBA Finals wasn't just a battle between the Celtics and the Lakers, it was a televised tug of war for the soul of the NBA. The stakes and consequences literally could not be any higher. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson had history dating back to the 1979 NCAA championship, and this was the first time they met in an NBA Finals. The league desperately needed a boost. Ratings were in the toilet, and tape-delayed games were still a thing. Yes, really. Then came the drama, heat, fights, clotheslines, overtime thrillers, Boston's suffocating defense, Magic's infamous tragic Johnson moment. The Celtics took the series in 7 games, but more importantly, the rivalry sparked a cultural phenomenon. Overnight, the NBA was sexy. Must-see TV? This series didn't just crown a champion, it rebranded the entire league. The torch wasn't passed. No, in 1991, it was snatched. Michael Jordan finally made it to the finals after years of frustration and heartbreak. Waiting for him, Magic Johnson, the 5-time champion and face of the league. It was supposed to be a heavyweight bout, but what unfolded was the coronation of a new king. Jordan averaged 31 points, 11 assists, and threw down one of the most iconic moves in finals history, the mid-air switch layup in Game 2. It was physics-defying and soul-crushing. The Bulls won in 5, and Magic never returned to the finals again. That series was the official end of the 1980s and the dawning of the Jordan Empire. Sneakers, Gatorade, global stardom, the whole cultural explosion of basketball in the 90s launched from this moment. One era ended. A dynasty began. The dynasty was ruined when Curry lost a 3-1 lead, seen later in the video. You could script this, but no one would believe it. Jordan's actual final game as a Bull, no, we don't count the Wizards, was Game 6 in Utah. Tied 3-3 in rings with Scottie Pippen's back held together with duct tape and Dennis Rodman distracted by WWE rumors. The Bulls were exhausted, but determined. With 5.2 seconds left, Jordan crossed over Brian Russell and buried the jumper. Swish, Bulls up, 6th ring, curtains. That one shot ended the Bulls dynasty in cinematic perfection. It closed the book on one of the most dominant stretches in sports. The Bulls blew it up after that, and the league moment. The last shot wasn't just a clutch play. It was the exclamation point at the end of a basketball era. The 2000 finals didn't seem earth-shattering at first glance. The Lakers were young, flashy, and coached by Zen master Phil Jackson. Shaquille O'Neal was an absolute beast, averaging 38 points and 16 rebounds per game, completely bullying Rick Smits like a bouncer at a dive bar.
I gotta give me some space so I can get up out of there.
Finals started.
Shaq and
Kobe. The repeat. The coming of a new villainous dynasty in purple and gold. This was also the first time a post-Jordan finals felt like the NBA knew where it was going. No more wondering who the next Jordan would be. We got Kobe. The ratings surged again. Kids started mimicking turnaround fadeaways on their driveway hoops. The swagger was back, and the power structure of the league shifted west. Power shifted to Warriors when Kevin Durant joined them after losing a 3-1 lead in the finals, seen later in the video. The 2006 finals had all the makings of a blowout. Dallas went up 2-0 and was on its way to a third straight win in Game 3. Then, Dwayne Wade happened. Wade turned into a literal cheat code. Over the final 4 games, he averaged 39.3 points and lived at the free throw line. Dallas fans are still bitter, but Wade's performance was undeniably legendary. Shaq took a back seat, and the basketball world realized a new superstar had arrived. It was also Miami's first championship and the first title for Pat Riley as a non-Laker. Suddenly, South Beach was a basketball capital, and the Heat franchise was forever changed. The 2006 finals gave us the blueprint for the modern superstar explosion finals performance, a blueprint later mimicked by players like LeBron, Steph, and Giannis. This wasn't just basketball. This was personal. The 2010 Finals was Kobe Bryant's revenge tour. 2 years earlier, the Celtics embarrassed the Lakers in the 2008 Finals, blowing them out by 39 points in the decisive Game 6.
Okay, let's get 1-1-1-1, and let's try to get this gun. We need to upgrade. Okay, perfect, awesome. Now we're gonna mow these guys down. Next up is the minigun. Have we get the minigun? Let's add a bunch of guys. We have some really big guys coming, and I want to make sure we get the minigun. Yes. Okay. Nice. Now we're gonna get this guy. Okay. This game, Last House Survival, has 0 ads. It's completely free to play. It's super fun, and yes, it actually looks like this. The developers put all those fake ads, and they made a game out of it. This is what it looks like. If you don't believe me, see for yourself. Tap and download Last House Survival for free.
The 2010s weren't just a decade of basketball. They were a transformation. This is the era where everything changed. The way we played, the way we watched, the way we talked about the game. The superstars got louder. The drama got deeper. And the highlights, they turned into history.
Yeah, we're still seeing how you live,
James go from villain to legend. That Curry will rewrite the laws of physics. His dynasty rise, fall, and leave scars behind. We saw MVPs score at a triple-double. Rings decided by inches. A moment that will never fade. The flaw, the shot, the decision, the 3-1. Each season gave us something unforgettable. Something big, emotional, and a legendary decade the NBA has ever seen. The 2000s weren't just a new decade for the NBA. They were a reset. Jordan was gone, the Bulls were broken, and the league wide open. What followed was a roller coaster.
I'm chilling. Appreciate the 2 there. Appreciate the 2 there.
In LA, a dynasty in San Antonio, and a war for identity in between. We got Prime Iverson, young LeBron, the rise of Kobe, the fall of Shaq, and the blueprint for what the modern NBA would become. From street ball mixtape energy to international expansion, from defense-first grinders to score-at-will assassins. The 2000s gave us everything: heartbreak, heat checks, headlines, and heroes who defined a generation. So let's rewind, season by season, moment by moment. This is every NBA season of the 2006 point. The year 2000 wasn't just the start of a new decade. It was the start of a new order. And the NBA needed a new alpha. Enter Shaquille O'Neal. Not skinny Orlando Shaq. Not aging washed up Shaq. This was polished LA Shaq. In 2000 was the year he turned into a monster. He averaged 29.7 points, 13.6 rebounds, 3 blocks, and won MVP without debate. The Lakers won 67 games. Bill Jackson showed up with his wins, trying to go offense again, and gave Kobe Bryant and Shaq the structure they never had. And for once, it actually worked. Well, kind of. Because as dominant as they looked on the court, behind the scenes, there was tension. Kobe wanted the ball. Shaq wanted the respect. Bill was just trying to keep the team. The scoreboard? It didn't matter. The Lakers were terrorizing the league. Meanwhile, the East was absolute chaos. The Knicks were aging. The Pacers were blinding. And Miami still had that Pat Riley grit. But nobody looked like a true finals team. That's where the West came in. Portland with Rasheed Wallace, Scottie Pippen, and one of the deepest rosters in the league was legit. The Spurs were defending champs were still a problem, but the Lakers, they were inevitable. Until they weren't. Because in the Western Conference Finals, the Lakers fell behind 15 points in Game 7 with Portland with just over 10 minutes left. The dynasty almost dead before it began. And then, so wrong. Kobe started slicing. Shaq started dunking. The defense tightened up. And then, the iconic alley-oop. Kobe loves it. Shaq catches it. Reads. Stephen Center loses it in
300.
Game over. Giants unlocked. That moment, that was the beginning. In the finals, the Pacers gave them a fight. Reggie Miller was still hitting daggers. Danny Rose was cooking. The Indiana stretched it to 6. But Shaq, he wasn't letting this one go. He averaged 38 points, 17 rebounds, 3 blocks. Yeah, you heard that right. He won Finals MVP and made it look easy. The Lakers were champions for the first time since Magic. The Shaq coach 12 had arrived, and the NBA was unnoticed. Elsewhere, we had stories brewing. Vince Carter was become the most electrifying player in the league, putting Toronto on the map and dropping their greatest dunk contest performance ever in Oakland that February.
Acorns lets me focus on today's goals, while they handle tomorrow's. Being the financial wellness app built for everyone, Acorns makes it easy to invest like an expert, even if you aren't one. Start investing with just your spare change using Roundup. Set recurring investments with as little as $5 a day, week, or month. And let Acorns give your money a real chance to grow.
Allen Iverson was putting up 28 a night and averaging the Sixers on sheer willpower. Tim Duncan was still Tim Duncan. Quiet, clinical, dominant. And the young phenom being critical and just in Orlando, ready to break out of Vince's shadow.
Sure.
But none of that mattered in the moment. Because 2000 belonged to Shaquille O'Neal, and the Lakers were just getting started. If just someone was ready to fight back. His name was Allen Iverson, listed at 6 feet, but probably closer to 5'10", 160 pounds, soaking wet, and the absolute toughest player in the league. He led the Sixers like a man to death, averaged 31 points a game, took more hits than anyone. That's getting up. One weekend repeat and made it clear he wasn't just here to score, he was here to take over. But Iverson didn't do it alone. Philly was built for war. They had the defensive player of the year in Dikembe Mutombo. They had Eric Snow locking up guards. They had Aaron McKee off the bench winning 6th Man of the Year. And they had Larry Brown on the sideline. The perfectionist coach who hated everything about Iverson's style except the result. They clawed their way through the heat, beat the Pacers in 4, got into a fist-fight series with Vince Carter and the Raptors, and survived a Game 7 where Vince barely missed a game-winning jumper. Then battled between Milwaukee and Ray Allen in another 7-game slugfest. By the time they reached the finals, Iverson was banged up, exhausted, and still fearless. But standing on the other side, a fully weaponized Lakers team. Shaq, Kobe, Phil, and now, chemistry. They were just good. They were unstoppable. They swept the West without losing a single game. They moved through Portland, wrecked the Kings, humiliated the Spurs. The average margin of victory, over 12 points per game. Shaq was still dominant, but Kobe was different now. He torched Sacramento for 48 and 16. Took over in San Antonio with back-to-back 42 games. He was only 22, but he looked like a good guy. And yet, somehow, Game 1 of the finals belonged to Iverson. Nobody gave Philly a shot. Vegas had them as massive.
Christ, bro, why am I missing every play?
And Iverson walked against Staples Center in Sunset. He dropped 28, everything. And then came the moment. The baseline fadeaway over Tyronn Lue. Lue hits the deck. Iverson steps over it. Iconic. Sixers win Game 1. The Lakers were human again, but only for a minute. Shaq woke up. Kobe went into killer mode, and the Lakers won the next 4 straight. Closed it out in 5. Shaq averaged 36 and 15, another Finals MVP. Back-to-back champs. No drama, no doubt, but nobody forgot Iverson. The Sixers didn't win the title, but he gave the Lakers the only loss they took that postseason. He earned everyone's respect. But what about everyone else? The Pittsburgh and Nash was starting to slow things down. And a 19-year-old kid named Al Gasol just got drafted to Memphis. The league was changing, and in 2001, it was the Lakers on top, and Iverson, standing alone, daring them to take it from him. The 2002 NBA season was a setup. Everything felt different. Jordan wasn't walking through that tunnel anymore. He was with the Wizards now. The Bulls were still a disaster. The East was pretty forgettable. And out West, two teams were destined to clash. The defending champion Lakers were going for a three-peat. Shaq was still Shaq, dominant in the team, fierce and unguardable. Kobe had leveled up. The hesitation was gone. Killer instincts were fully online. And even though the regular season was a little bumpier than usual, everyone knew what time it was. But this time, they weren't alone at the top, because the Sacramento Kings had arrived. They weren't just good, they were fun. Chris Webber was in full control. A point forward before there was a thing. Mike Bibby was ice. Peja Stojakovic was automatic from deep. Vlade Divac was flopping his way to defensive stops. And Rick Adelman had the ball flying around like it was Spurs basketball for 3 years too early. They won 61 games, with the best record in the league, and most importantly, they owned the Lakers in the regular season. This wasn't just fun. This was a real
That's not good.
Meanwhile, out east, the Nets, yes, the New Jersey Nets came out of nowhere. Jason Kidd was traded for Stephon Marbury the summer before and instantly turned the team around. He pushed the pace, controlled every possession, and brought him all the way to 15-3 wins. Terry Kittle, Daniel Martin, Richard Jefferson. A solid squad, but nobody believed they could win it all. But everyone was watching the West. The Kings made it to the Western Conference Finals. So did the Lakers. And what followed? One of the most controversial, chaotic, and gut-wrenching series in NBA history. It was 7 games of pure war. Game 1, Kings win. Game 2, Lakers bounce back. Game 3, Kings go up 2-1. Game 4, the Horry game. Down 2, the Lakers scramble in the final seconds. Shaq misses, Kobe misses, Rodney tips it out, and Robert Horry, big shot Bob, drains the game winner at the buzzer. 2-2. Game 5, Sacramento responds. Mike City hits the dagger. 3-2 1 game away. Then, Game 6. The game no Kings fan ever forgot. 51 free throws for the Lakers. Phantom call. No call. Suspect whistle. Didn't even feel subtle. Tim Donaghy, years later, would point to this game as an example of manipulated outcome. Lakers win. Game 7 goes back to Sacramento. And even then, the Kings almost did it. But Peja misses wide open shot. Doug Christie fouls out. Bibby and Webber keep fighting, but fall short in OT. Lakers survive. Go to the final. Sweep the Nets. Shaq wins his 3rd straight Finals MVP. 3-peat complete. But everybody knew that the real finals happened in the round before. Sacramento didn't just lose. They got wrong. 2002 was peak drama. The Shaq-Kobe 3-peat. The rise and heartbreak of the Kings. And deep down, the league started to feel it. Something wasn't quite right. 2003 was a transition in real time. The Lakers starting to wobble. The Kings still reeling. The Heat still searching for an identity. But behind the curtain, a new generation is stepping through the door. Let's start at the top. The San Antonio Spurs were back. Tim Duncan, robotic, emotionless, unguardable, was at the peak of his power. He didn't talk. He didn't flex. He just destroyed. He averaged 23 and 12, carried the Spurs to 60 wins, and won his 2nd straight MVP. But the secret weapon? A 2nd-round pick from Argentina named Manu Ginobili, who played like the rules didn't apply to him. finishing, offhand passes, chaos energy. Nobody in the league knew what to do with it. On the other side, the Lakers were unraveling. Shaq was still dominant. Kobe was in full alpha mode, dropping 30 a game and taking more shots than ever. But they weren't on the same page anymore. The locker room was tense. And worse, the rest of the league had caught up. The Kings were still elite. The Mavericks, led by Dirk and Steve Nash, were putting up video game numbers. Kevin Garnett was still stuck in Minnesota, doing everything by himself. And the Timberwolves were somehow still getting bounced in round one. But the playoffs were brutal. The Lakers got bounced in the second by San Antonio. The three-peat was over. Shaq was it. Kobe was louder. Bill was tired. The dynasty didn't collapse. They were the losing bag. And at first, they just kept rolling. They beat the Suns, outlasted the Lakers, took down the Mavericks in the sixth. And on the other side, in the East, it was weird. The Pistons had built something nasty. A team of grown men. No stars, just defense. Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Big Ben Wallace. They won 50 games and lost everyone down. New Jersey made it back to the finals, led again by Jason Kidd. They swept Boston, beat the Pistons. By the time they reached the finals, the Spurs were waiting. In that series, it was not pretty. It was physical, low scoring, a lot of missed shots, a lot of pushing and grabbing. But Duncan just kept going. He averaged 24, 17, and 5 with 5 blocks per game. In Game 6, he came 1 assist shy of a quadruple double. He won Finals MVP again after winning it in '99. The Spurs were champs, and they did it their way. But the craziest part about 2003 was that it wasn't even about the playoffs. It was the draft. Because in June, the NBA welcomed a rookie class that would redefine the next decade. LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, 4 All-Stars, 4 future Hall of Famers, all in the same class. And just like that, the 2000s got a jolt of new blood. The Spurs were on top. The Lakers were cracking, but the next wave was already warming up on the sidelines. If 2003 was a changing of the guard, 2004 was a straight-up uprising. This was the year the league learned chemistry matters, defense travels, and no amount of talent can fix a broken locker room. Let's start in LA. The Lakers weren't just loaded, they were absurd. They added Karl Malone and Gary Payton to a core and already had Shaq and Kobe, 4 Hall of Famers, 10 finals appearances, endless expectations. This was supposed to be unbeatable. Shaq was still bullying the paint. Kobe was dropping 24 a night while also battling serious off-court issues. Malone and Payton were chasing rings, sacrificing shots, trying to blend in, and Phil Jackson just trying to keep it all from exploding. But from day one, it never felt right. They still won 56 games. They still made the finals. But behind the scenes, egos were boiling. Meanwhile, out east, something different was happening. Detroit. No superstar, no ego, no hype. Just 5 guys who fit. Chauncey Billups, who was the floor general. Rip Hamilton, who was running marathons through screens. Tayshaun Prince, who was a two-way weapon. Ben Wallace was the heartbeat. Undersized, overpowered, unstoppable. And midway through the season, they added Rasheed Wallace, the final piece. A walking technical foul with game-changing talent. Larry Brown had been playing some of the best team defense ever. Ugly wins, grimy basketball, total buy-in.
Bro, the level just started and we're already getting overrun. I gotta take these guys out and build this crossbow tower as fast as possible. I don't even think I have a choice. Quickly.
And in the playoffs, they smothered everyone. Knocked out the Bucks, survived a 7-game war with the Nets, then destroyed the Pacers, holding them to under 80 points a game. The finals? Everyone expected the Lakers to walk. Instead, the Lake Show got shut down. Detroit didn't just 1, Detroit wins. Game 2, Kobe hits a miracle 3 to force OT. Lakers steal it. But then, Detroit turns the lights out. Game 3, blowout. Game 4, blowout. Game 5, over. Series, 4-1 Pistons. They made the Hall of Famers look lost. Kobe and Shaq barely talked. Carl got hurt. Gary looked exposed. And the Pistons just kept defending. Finals MVP, Chauncey Billups. Cool, calm, in control. No superstars, no drama, just defense, toughness, and perfect execution. That finals wasn't just an upset. It was a philosophy statement. Team basketball still wins championships. And afterward, the Lakers blew it up. Phil Jackson walked. Shaq got traded to Miami. Kobe stayed. And the dynasty was dead. Meanwhile, around the league, LeBron was just getting warmed up, averaging 21, 6, and 6 in his rookie season. Carmelo carrying Denver to the playoffs. D-Wade looked like a future star in Miami, and the Spurs were lurking again. 2004 was the season where everything flipped. The flashy team lost, the quiet team won, and the blueprint for building a champion just got rewritten. If 2004 was grit and chaos, 2005 was balance. This was the year the league settled into something, yes, the storylines weren't as loud, the headlines weren't as messy, but the basketball, it was surgical. Let's start with the change. The Pistons came back nearly unchanged. Chauncey, Red, Tayshaun, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace. Still the nastiest defense in the league. Still zero superstars. Still